All right, everybody. Steve Smitherman with Stromquist and Company coming to you live from Niagara Summit 2026 Day 2. They had a morning session going over some updates for Niagara 5 that I wanted to share with everybody. I found a quiet space since we have over 1,200 folks here this year, which is awesome. Quiet space is kind of at a premium. But a big announcement from this morning's sessions included details about Niagara 5, and I wanted to share some of those with you guys here real quick. Some of the items that caught my ear: UI and UX improvements based around consolidating and making the workbench easier and more intuitive to use, as well as some requested accessibility features. Dark mode for those of you that want it and have been asking for it in the workbench. There's also a big focus on reduced deployment time for a lot of processes across the board, making things that took 2 hours take 30 minutes, that kind of thing. They spent a lot of time in development of that. Premium Workbench was announced, which will include some AI and cloud integration features built in. Not a whole lot of details on that, but some features that they did talk about: remote connection and recovery features for Niagara-based hardware and stations based around cloud SMAs that will be coming. AI-based help agent to help you figure out how to do something in the Niagara environment, as well as MCP for agent integration into various tasks or other things that you may want to do in the Niagara environment. So all very cool things. Stephen used a metaphor I like, comparing the upgraded Java 25 base and feature sets as an engine swap to give the car a massive upgrade. And I couldn't agree more based on what they're talking about bringing out in Niagara 5 and the iterations going forward. Some other quick details: upgrading Niagara 5 will just take an active SMA. No special licensing. It will only be the J9000s as previously announced, so no 8000s. They're done at 415. They won't be moving forward, but your server licenses with an active SMA, your J9000s are going to be good. They're still running that promo until summer this year, so if you have 8000s that you plan on upgrading to 9000s, now is the time. My thoughts on all this: it sounds like a huge step forward. As I said, there was a lot of R&D spent on cybersecurity and encryption pathways between cloud services, devices, and more. I think you said something like 40% of the R&D budget went into cybersecurity and making sure that everything was going to be safe. No one wants to be on the news, right? They put a lot of emphasis on AI as a tool to help you and not be a replacement for human interaction. So data being gathered by the AI across all your different portions of a station or a site or anything, and then presenting that information to you to make a decision as a human being on what to do with that data. So all of that sounds awesome. And then finally, beta testing should be started for SIs around July and building owners around September. So those were the big things from this morning's sessions. This afternoon, they're going to have stuff with 4 different tracks: a business track, an end user or consumer track, a Niagara track, and a tech track. So some of the things I'll be looking out, some of the how-tos in Niagara that are always a thing that I enjoy going to and checking out. May pop into some of the system integrator parts and pieces on the business track to see what they have going on. And then there's going to be talk about data centers and PLCs that I'm interested in taking a look at. So we'll continue to keep you guys posted, but just wanted to get you caught up on some of the big announcements from earlier today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thanks again.